Welcome to KMET 1490 AM ABC News Radio and the Southern California Business Report with Yvette Walker, a show dedicated to highlighting successful Southern California businesses and the people behind them.
Welcome and thank you for joining the Southern California Business Report on ABC News and Talks, KMET 1490 AM, 98.1 FM, and KMET TV. I'm Yvette Walker, live blasting our signal from the center of Southern California, serving a population of over 25 million. Get us crystal clear and on demand by downloading the free live streaming app on Google Play or the Apple App Store. And as always, a huge shout out to the team, Mitch, Bill, and Sean. I love you guys. And to our special advisory committee, check out scbrtalk.com for that full panel of distinguished advisory committee members. Today, I have the distinct honor to introduce Mr. Ted Alejandre. He is San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools, who began his 4-year term as the county's 34th superintendent after being elected to office in June of 2014. He ran for the county's lead educational seat unopposed in 2018 and began his second 4-year term in January 2019. With more than 3 decades of experience in public education, Mr. Alejandre has served in several positions at the school site and district levels, including Assistant Superintendent of Business Services in the Yucaipa-Calimesa Joint Unified School District. He joined the County of Schools in 2008 as the Assistant Superintendent of Business Services and later was appointed Deputy Superintendent, overseeing all operations of the organization. As County Superintendent, Mr. Alejandre works collaboratively with educators, families, other agencies, and stakeholders to provide advocacy, leadership, and services for and on behalf of more than 406,000 K-12 students attending public schools in San Bernardino County. Mr. Alejandre is a retired U.S. Air Force Lieutenant Colonel serving since 1984. He received his associate degree in administrative management from the Community College of the Air Force, his bachelor's degree in public administration, and master's in educational administration from Cal State San Bernardino. Thank you so much for being with us today, Mr. Alejandre.
Thank you so much, Yvette. It's great to be here today with you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. So, as you know, I ask my guests the same question. That question is, give us a brief background of what inspired you to pursue the path of education, ultimately running for county superintendent and now serving your 4th term today.
Well, thank you so much. Actually, when I started my professional career was actually in the military at Norton Air Force Base when I was on active duty, and then stayed with the Air Force in a reserve capacity all the way until I retired in 2019. But when I left active duty, I had an opportunity to work for Rialto Unified School District, and it was such an amazing experience interacting with people passionate about students' education. And from there, I decided I wanted to go into teaching and became a 4th, 5th grade teacher, and then was just encouraged along the way to seek other positions to try to make an impact at a larger level. So I became an assistant principal, a principal for the elementary level, middle school principal, assistant superintendent. And as you mentioned, came here to county schools about 15 years ago and served over business services. And when the former superintendent retired, I'd been in education a number of years, building many relationships across our county, and many people encouraged me to run for this seat. It is an elected position, and they felt that I would really represent the needs of our communities to support students. And so I ran for the seat in 2014 and was elected, and now serving my 3rd term. But throughout the journey, and it's 35 years now in public education, all in San Bernardino County. To me, the most important reward is just impacting the lives of students. We have a mission here, transforming lives through education, and I believe that's what our teachers and administrators and parents all are striving to accomplish, is making a difference for every one of our students.
Absolutely. What is so impressive to me is seeing you on the ground from what I can view, almost every single major function throughout the county, which is the largest county in the country, right? 407,000 students, the largest by land mass, being everywhere almost at once. And I was commenting earlier, I said, how do you do it, right? It's remarkable. It's inspiring. And I love that you're leading the educational system and have created a model for, education, not only in our county, but throughout California. Truly inspiring. So let's jump into it, Mr. Alejandre, and we're going to start with your Cradle to Career Roadmap. Please talk a little bit about what that is.
Oh, it's such a key document because when the county of San Bernardino, a little over 10 years ago, decided to have a mission and vision for our county to be the best place to live, work, and play, they had critical elements to that, including health and safety and education, which was one of the top priorities. So working with the president for Cal State University San Bernardino, Dr. Morales, we really worked in alignment and in collaboration to develop the Cradle to Career Roadmap, which is a document that really indicates the key success items for all students, 0 to 5, K-12, and post-secondary, both from an academic perspective, but also from a personal readiness perspective. And so when we completed that process, again, a number of years ago, we asked our districts to support it, and all of them overwhelmingly said yes, and it had that adopted by their school boards. And ever since, it's been kind of our guiding document to address the needs of all students so they can be successful. And just about 6 months ago, we created an interactive. So when parents come up to us and many of my staff, they say, I need help with my child. I don't know what kinds of reading materials they should have in kindergarten. My child's a high school student. I want to get more information on college. And instead of trying to go through the internet and searching through all the different things, the Cradle to Career now is interactive. So you go right to our website, and all those questions will give you vetted resources that what we consider and our team considers some of the best information for parents, for educators, for the community to access so that they can have that information for their child, their niece, their loved one. We want to make sure everyone has access to it because it does set the path for success for all of our students.
Wow, that is remarkable. Creating such an integral, robust resource for parents to access, all in one place. Again, a level of innovation and thought towards the parents and true desire to reach out and be that resource. I absolutely love it. So is that connected to the California dashboard? Can you talk a little bit about the accomplishments and the needs of that?
Oh, absolutely. Because, our state's moved from what was used to be known as the API now to a dashboard of items that districts all are striving to be successful with. And so in our Cradle to Career Roadmap, it does include a data access point to where you can get data and the success of districts in trying to meet those dashboard goals. The former system really focused on test scores in math and language arts. The dashboard really covers those areas, but it also includes things like college and career. It talks about suspensions, about attendance, about other areas that districts are trying to support students with. And so what we do every single year is meet with every single one of our districts, and we have that collaborative conversation with the superintendent and or his or her designee to talk about, let's look at the success of the district in meeting the dashboard, and wherever there's a weakness or a need, then how can the county support your efforts? It may be through professional development for teachers. We have expert math teachers who can help other teachers teach math better, as one example. It may be looking at our AVID resources, a program that's incredible for high school students, but now is available for middle and elementary. It could be to strengthen the social emotional needs of students through a program called PBIS. But whatever the need of a district is, then we try to support and facilitate that either with our staff directly, or where can we broker it wherever that resource lies so that we can be of value to our school districts. And that partnership has become so strengthened. I meet with superintendents every single month, and we talk about the needs that are out there, and every month we have another district showcase one of their areas that they're strong in so that we can all learn from each other. We always talk about the answers are really in our region. We just have to identify them and then replicate them so that all students can be successful in whichever area districts are trying to meet.
I love that because it's not about reinventing the wheel, but creating a model, step in, repeating it to apply it and let everyone benefit from something that's already working, right? That is just brilliant. Please talk a little bit about your student events. And, I have been so privileged to participate and be a part and, a guest of some of these events, and they are just phenomenal. The level of time and planning and just effort that is invested for our students through these events is really exceptional. Please talk a little bit about those.
Oh, I'd love to. Growing up in high school, I was in football and I love athletics, but we need to give just as much time and support to non-athletic events. And so what we do at the county is we convene those events and offer it to all of our school districts and our private schools. So it's open to any one of the schools in our county. And it starts off usually before the winter break where we have our mock trial. And that's where students compete regionally in a courtroom. And if you've ever seen a mock trial event, everybody in that courtroom is a student except for the judge, who's a real judge. And then the students take on the role of the prosecuting attorney, the defense attorney, the bailiff. And they do such an incredible job. When you get to the finals, the students are so strong. I interviewed a judge, a real judge, and he said, some of these students are more prepared than the real attorneys that come into the court. That's how good they are. But that's when we started. Then we move into academic decathlon. We come back in, we start hitting our music events where we bring the best musicians from throughout the county to perform at our county honor band performance in Redlands, our county honor band performance in the high desert, our county honor orchestra. And then we also established about 7 years ago a performing arts showcase where it's an invitational. And so we bring in the choirs, we bring in the jazz bands, we bring in the performing arts, the poets, so they can perform live at the historic California Theater in San Bernardino to an audience that fills the room just like they're professionals. And students are just captivated by that, and they love that so much. And then we continue to move on with our science and engineering fair. We have our history day, we have our spelling bee, and all of these events really encourage students to participate, to really showcase their talents, and for us as community members to really acknowledge them and celebrate them at these wonderful events that take place.
I absolutely love it. And like you said, I was recently at the performing arts event and, the California Theater for Performing Arts, it's a historic theater. I mean, complete with the balconies, the Art Deco style. I mean, just gorgeous. And I can only imagine, these core memories and experiences that are developing and influencing these students to realize that they can go far, as long as they invest that time, that effort, and develop their skills, the sky's the limit. When you start off on a stage like that, what more can you do, right? So it's just absolutely remarkable.
And we try to bring the community members in as well, because a number of these events require judges, they require volunteers. There's many different ways we can include community members. And so we try to spread that news out so that people that are interested in getting more involved in student events certainly have that opportunity because it really is a community event and a community gathering.
And that's what I love, that the community does come out. It does show up for these students because they see the value in it. They see the excitement in the students, and they want to be a part of fostering that environment for growth. And I just absolutely love it. So we're going to have to come back to that, because if there are opportunities for people to engage and volunteer and be a part of those events, we need to put the word out there and let people know that these opportunities exist and, continue to support these amazing efforts. Another amazing format that you have developed is the Student Advisory Group. Please, Mr. Alejandre, tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, absolutely. It's a wonderful event that we have. And really it started when the county, again, developed the countywide mission to make our county the best place to live, work, and play. And I commend the county government for really trying to have professional support and getting input from all areas of the county, adults from the West End, from the East Valley, from the high desert, the remote areas, the mountains. And when they asked us for our thoughts, we said, you've spoken to a number of community members and citizens throughout the county, but what about the youth voice? What about high school students? And they felt that was a great idea and asked us to help them. So that first year we pulled together some students from Chaffee high school district, but that very next year I made a commitment to bring in youth voice on a permanent basis. And so ever since then, we've developed our student advisory where we invite every one of our high schools in the county to have students come forward. Usually 4 to 5 students is what the high schools will bring in. And so they come into 3 regional areas, and we have some incredible facilitators who the first thing they do is work with the students to team build. Because, if you have students coming from Eisenhower and students coming from Chaffee Fee and students coming from Colton, they'll sit with their group from their same high schools. And the first thing we do is mix them all up so that they have that opportunity to get to know other people. And we do team building activities. One event, for example, was building a structure of balloons and using tape and ice cream sticks and some other materials. And after they did that, we asked them, what'd you learn? And they always say that they thought they had some good ideas, but when they work together as a team, they have many more good ideas. And so once we develop that team building, then we expose them to our community vital signs, which is part of our countywide vision. So those vital signs involve health, safety, the economy, and education. And we ask students, where's your interest in really giving recommendations on how we can strengthen our community by improving areas that you think need to be improved? So they get together with other students with like interests, and then over a series of meetings, they do research, they do surveys, they have conversations, and at the final meeting, they present their recommendations to elected officials through a PowerPoint. And these are city council members, school board members, members from the assembly, business leaders, community leaders, faith-based leaders. We'll put on different panels. And when these folks hear the students, they are so incredibly inspired and awakened by what students recommend, because they can tell it's pure from the students. It's not filtered. The students are saying what they feel. We've had students talk about how schools can improve areas such as, drug dependency, alcohol dependency, mental health needs, nutrition needs, being more exposed to industries so that they can then look forward to that for their career pathways. So many wonderful ideas that the panelists come back year after year because they just truly enjoy listening to these students with these incredible recommendations.
Absolutely. And I just have to say, Mr. Alejandre, I had the honor of being one of the panelists this year, and I was absolutely blown away by the level of professionalism, thought, readiness, the whole 9 yards. Very mature topics that they covered. Like you said, mental health topics, drug abuse topics, just very impressive and a true representation of what our students are in San Bernardino County. And I can tell you that they not only made, I'm sure, the county proud, but their parents proud, because many of the parents were there, watching and being a part of the presentation, watching them deliver the presentation to the panelists. Just amazing. And from your experience, Mr. Alejandre, at least from the last advisory group, what would you say were some of the key points that the students were focused on?
Oh, they always have recommendations for mental health needs, wellness centers at their school, access to counselors. When we ask them what they need to help them, not just with graduating, but what's the plan the day after graduation, they always say they need more positive adults to give them guidance. They need to have more options of what opportunities there are and how to access those opportunities, who to speak with, where the materials, the applications, the timelines. We have to realize that in our county, we have 70% of our students who are economically disadvantaged. And so their experience may be only a few miles radius from their homes. And if that radius doesn't include access to industry or other opportunities, they're very limited in what they know unless they're exposed to it by people they can trust and have relationships with. And so that's always something that's key. But they also talk about nutrition. They talk about health. They talk about many other topics. One example I'll give you was we had Senator Portantino on one of our panels one year, and the state of California is really focused on housing. And one of our student groups had an incredible presentation on housing. And Senator Portantino said, "Can I have your permission to use that PowerPoint today? Because when I go up to Sacramento, this is a key topic we're going to be discussing." And they said, absolutely. And so I've had board members tell me that they've changed policy because of the input from students. And so many others that either have the ability to change policy or influence to change policy always appreciate the recommendations from the students, because it gives them that lens from what our youth want. And our customers should be our youth. They're the ones that are going to continue to be our leaders. They're the ones that are going to provide for our communities in the future. What can we do to help build that foundation of expertise and support for all the things that all of us want?
Absolutely. When I left that day, I left with an overwhelming sense of confidence and relief that our future is in excellent hands, right? Because these students were so prepared, so mature, had done their research, know what they're talking about. And it was just, honestly, it was mind-blowing and very inspiring. So thank you again for that invitation. With that said, let's talk about, you talk about the students being the customers, and I know that you're constantly looking for ways to serve them. Let's talk about some programs that you have developed for them.
Oh, throughout the county, I'll tell all of our school districts are really focused on not just graduating students, but what's the pathway right after. So they have a plan the day after. And there's an indicator that many districts have used, and that's the completion of what's called the A through G courses. There's 15 courses that students need to pass to be eligible to go to Cal State or UCR. And, we used to be very low in succession. We've increased that to about 40% plus. Some districts are nearing the 70% range. But what we're all trying to do is have students be aware of those options. And so when we find out the classes they struggle the most, it's usually math and science. And so that's why STEM is so important. And so we're really focused on bringing in more STEM opportunities and tying them to industry. So when you go to high schools, and we have it all mapped out on our website through GIS. But if you look at our map, you'll see schools that have pathways in engineering, advanced manufacturing. They may have it in health. They may have it in music and arts. They may have it in IT. And so any of those industry levels, that's where students can have that direct application, which makes math and science more relevant, which then gives them the information they need to be more successful moving through. And so we're proud of the many different programs our districts provide. And one program that we provide specific support to is a program called AVIT. And that's Advancement via Individual Determination. And it's really working with the teachers and the students, and then also having support, mentors that come from colleges that work in classrooms to build those relationships with students and help guide them on key areas to prepare them for the next level after high school. And in those classes, 96% meet A through G requirements. And so that's expanded the most since I've been here because every school is trying to help students be successful. And then just on a side note, the county schools, while we don't have elementary schools or middle schools, the programs that we run for all the districts, the largest is for special education. So students that have more significant disabilities, they may be hard of hearing, they may have vision impairment, they may have motor skills functioning, loss of functioning, and other significant disabilities, which put them in classes that we run with our teachers in supported districts. And then we also have a program that is directly funded through the state, and that's for students that are on probation, they're referred to probation, they're incarcerated, or they're in our juvenile hall facilities. And so while those students have many challenges, our teachers do a tremendous job to really help build their confidence and really turn their lives around so they can look forward to possibilities they have if they get away from the styles that put them there and then move towards more successful routes in the future. And we're very proud of the students that we've had make those changes to now have possibilities they can start to dream about for their futures.
Absolutely. And that comes because of the resources that you're able to provide and the true desire to transform lives and give access to these resources and programs that you have developed. And it's remarkable what it is that's happening in our county under your leadership as superintendent. Extremely inspiring, but we're coming up on a break, Mr. Alejandre. So everybody, I'm Yvette Walker with ABC News and Talk Southern California Business Report with Ted Alejandre, County Superintendent in San Bernardino County, Superintendent of Schools, with an update on model efforts aimed at continual innovation and the state of education in the largest county in the U.S. when we return.
Every 2 seconds, someone needs a blood transfusion. Be on the giving side. Livestream Blood Bank supports patients in 80 Southern California hospitals. Call 1-800-TRY-GIVING for more information and to set an appointment.
The University of La Verne is rated first in California for alumni satisfaction. Learn more about accelerated programs offered online and on campus in La Verne, Irvine, Ontario, Burbank, or College of the Canyons. Visit go.laverne.edu. The University of La Verne. go.laverne.edu.
Hi, I'm San Bernardino County Sheriff Shannon Dykes. If you're looking to start an exciting career in law enforcement and make a difference in your community, we are hiring dispatchers, nurses, deputies, laterals, and many more. For a complete list of our jobs and more information, visit sheriffsjobs.com.
Ontario International Airport is onto a better way to fly with over 65 daily non-stop flights to more than 20 major destinations and the easiest airport experience in Southern California. Visit flyonto.com/Ontario to learn more about Ontario International Airport today.
City of Hope is driven to making a difference in the lives of people with cancer and diabetes. We accomplish this by conducting innovative research and providing outstanding care. If you or a loved one has received a cancer diagnosis, go to cityofhope.org to learn more about how our innovative approach could change your outcome.
Hi, Ray Lance from the Diamond Center in the Claremont Village here. One of the coolest parts of a third-generation family business is getting to know the families we serve through generations. Once you experience our friendly service, our fair and transparent pricing, and our beautiful jewelry that we make to last a lifetime, you'll stick with us too. Come visit us in the Claremont Village or at Lantz, L-A-N-T-Z, diamondcenter.com and see what makes us different.
Cal State San Bernardino is home to the only school of entrepreneurship in California. With globally ranked degree programs, you can start your journey today to become a successful entrepreneur. Learn more and connect at entre.usb.edu.
Welcome back. I'm Yvette Walker with ABC News and Talks Southern California Business Report with Ted Alejandre, County Superintendent at San Bernardino County, Superintendent of Schools, with an update on model efforts aimed at continual innovation and the state of education in the largest county in the U.S. Thank you again for being with us today, Mr. Alejandre.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Beautiful. So prior to the break, we were talking about the amazing programs that you have to serve your students or your clients, so to speak. And during the break, you were talking a little bit more about, some of those certifications and some of those skills that are being offered to those students that are justice involved or in juvenile hall. And please share that with our audience today.
Oh, I'd be happy to. We serve all the students in our juvenile hall facilities, and some students are there for 2 days, maybe a week or 2 weeks, but not very long. But no matter how long they're there, we make sure that they leave with at least two things. One is a first aid CPR certification, and the other is a food handler's card. Many of these students have not had the opportunity to seek employment. They don't know how to seek employment. They haven't been given the training and guidance. But when our teachers meet with them, they talk about these opportunities. They can start at the ground level so they can start building responsibility and learning skills, learning how to interact with others, and seeing the fruits of that through a paycheck that they can then use for something that they want to purchase or save or whatever the means are. But when you provide students with opportunities, it's amazing how many of them will take advantage and then completely have their lives changed because they're looking in the positive direction versus the negative direction they were leading prior to coming to the juvenile hall facilities. And we certainly don't want them to go back there. So our team is incredible about trying to get them to make that 180 and go in that right direction.
I absolutely love it. And it's unfortunate that they have to go through this process to, experience that and to have that level of investment in them to let them know, hey, there's a different path and you don't have to repeat this. You don't have to create or fall into this cycle that is devastating, right? Especially for our youth. We don't want that for them. We want them to succeed. We want them to have a great life and have a positive path forward. So it's remarkable. And I'm so happy that you do that for our students. Thank you, Mr. Alejandre.
Also trying to partner them with other individuals that are models. Another thing we do for students in juvenile hall, they're there for a little bit longer, is we have a partnership with the University of Redlands. And the students at the University of Redlands take a course in justice and social justice. And part of that is to do their work inside the hall, meeting with students and having conversations about what students can do to start making that turnaround. And I'll tell you, our students love working with these college students. They see what the students are moving towards. They get inspired by that, and they realize they could have that same opportunity if they do that 180 in the right direction.
Absolutely. And it all just has to do with expanding those horizons, right? And investing in them really and giving them those opportunities. So it's just absolutely remarkable. Thank you so much for doing that. Let's learn a little bit about how the community can engage and support with your educational efforts. You mentioned how businesses, can mentor, how other students can assist with these students that are in juvenile hall. And let's expand on that and talk about how the broader community can support and engage with your efforts.
Yes, community involvement is so vital. And it's one thing that I stress at every group I speak with is how the community can get involved and make a difference. When we switched over to local control with the state funding model, it happened about 10 years ago. One of the requirements for every school district is to complete what's called the Local Control Accountability Plan. You may hear it called LCAP. But in that LCAP, the district talks about how they're supporting students and the kinds of dollars that they're investing in these programs. But one component is strictly related to community input. How are they getting community input to develop that plan? And so when I tell all parents, because many parents say, well, how can I help my district? Or how can I help the school where my niece attends or my granddaughter attends? I always tell them, look at their LCAP. It's on their website. If you can't find it, it's on our website for every one of our districts. But it tells you how the district is trying to get that in community input and involvement. And when communities share their thoughts and priorities, school boards take it seriously and they devote resources to what the community wants. In our county, we have 33 school districts, and every district is unique and different. What's a priority in Needles is different than Rim of the World, than Yucaipa-Calimesa, than Chaffee, than Colton, than any one of our districts. All districts are passionate about students, but they look for accomplishing that in different ways, and community input is so important for that. And here at the county, when the state looked at putting money into building what they call CEI, and that's community engagement, they asked all the county offices to submit proposals on what counties could do to strengthen that across our state. And they selected one county to move that effort forward, and that was our county. So we're the one county in the state of California that is CEI, and that's building that stakeholder engagement. And we started with a cohort of districts from not just our county, but other counties throughout the state. We're now in our fourth cohort. We recently had a state conference where we all came together and we shared those strategies that are successfully implemented across districts. How can we really build that? And I'll tell you, when you have community cabinets like Colton Unified and other districts have similar types of groups and arrangements where everyone's invited, that input strengthens their programs because it's truly from the ground level supported the needs of everybody in that community. So that's a huge effort. And we also have a family engagement network where we take the leaders from all the districts and we bring them together. So as leaders of how to build involvement, they can share how to strengthen their leadership to get more and more people involved. In a couple of weeks, I'll be speaking and giving a welcome at Ontario Montclair School District. They have a parent summit. 500 parents will be at the DoubleTree, and they have parent ambassadors who encourage parents to be part of this group. And when they attend the summit, they have training sessions on what they can do to support their students and other students. And it's phenomenal about what they do. We try to supplement that through our own county family engagement summit that we do at Cal State University, bringing parents from all over the county to, again, be educated, to share their best practices, and just elevate that level of input from our community members throughout our region.
That is remarkable. Talk about, that saying, it takes a village. Literally, the village is coming together to garner that support and be ambassadors and speak on behalf of these efforts to advocate for their students, not only their own students, but all of the students that are, coming up through this system. So that is just amazing. So with that said, I know you have ambassadors and volunteers, but let's talk a little bit about career field opportunities within the SB CSS world.
Yes, we have one of our branches, all of our branches work together, whether it's educational services or business, but our innovation engagement is where our ROP and our Alliance for Education, Workforce SBCSS, stands. And the efforts of our team is really to connect industry to schools. We've heard about career fairs, and those are great, but it's hard to get businesses to take the time for a whole day to go to a campus and share with one school. Whereas through technology, you can have industry leaders from all over the county come directly into a 11th grade classroom and have that replicated across a number of other classrooms that are connected to that source so that students can learn about the industries that they can take advantage of. The high desert, we have the mountain desert career pathways. The industries in the high desert are different from the valley. So what opportunities are in each region and how can students be aware of it? I mentioned that we mapped all of our pathways at all of our high schools on our website. So through ArcGIS. So if you go onto our website, you can see where are all the pathways dealing with IT? Where are the pathways dealing with medical trades? Where are the pathways dealing with advanced manufacturing? And you can see where those schools have established and integrated industries so that students can be connected. And so all the time when we speak with businesses, we ask them, can you spare some time? You may not be able to come from a whole day, but can you have one of your leads spend 90 minutes on a Zoom so that it can impact a number of students that are tied into that Zoom setting to hear directly from you what your industry is. So we would have an industry, for example, take an iPad and show the students all the equipment, all the areas of their facility, how things are manufactured, and then go through some essential issues that the industry feels students should be aware of if they're interested in going into that area. So students, again, they tell us when they get this information, it just gives them another window of opportunities they never would have heard about. And I mentioned Avid. Avid is another program that, it's like a parent on campus with a student that has access to what that student needs to understand to develop their plan after high school. And it just, again, reinforces the need we have as educators to support our students to get them aware of these so they can be successful.
I love it. And, going back to the fact, Mr. Alejandre, that these programs and SBCSS is a model for the state of California, let's talk a little bit about what fellow educators outside of the county are saying. Please share a little bit of the feedback that you get to hear as a result of these exceptional efforts.
I'll tell you, and as part of the California County Superintendents Organization, I have the opportunity to meet with the other 58 county superintendents, and we bring in districts from different regions to talk about programs that are taking place. And every time we've had opportunities to share what we're doing, they've always been impressed with what our county has done. They've invited our principals and our superintendents to share what they're doing so that it can be replicated outside of our county. And so the more that we work as a team and more that we work as individuals that want to promote the best areas to have students be successful, the more we're going to gain from that. And so what I think people say the most about our county is that there's a strong passion that's connected through collective input, the collective impact. That's what makes us unique, is that we don't do it alone. We don't do it in silos. We really do it collaboratively. And it's not just educators. We work with the Department of Behavioral Health. We work with the Department of Public Health. We work with the Sheriff's Department. We work with the District Attorney's Office. And we have the District Attorney himself who's been teaching classes on social justice inside our classes. And it's phenomenal when we have professionals that really want the best for our students. So through a collective impact mindset, we can make that happen. We talk about leveraging resources. We say 1 + 1 + 1 doesn't equal 3. 1 + 1 + 1 equals 53 or 103, because you leverage those resources from everybody that can be put right back into supporting students to the best ability possible. So that's what we're known for in our region. And that's why we were selected to be the state's lead for the Community Engagement Initiative.
I love it. And then, so speaking about innovation, right, you are looking at the next frontier of education, and you have integrated esports into your curriculum. Please talk a little bit about that.
Yes, when we went on COVID, distance learning became the mode of instruction. And we have a team here led by our CTO, David Thurston, who works with professionals on how to really utilize technology to accelerate learning. During COVID, we really connected them to Canvas and to platforms and to Zoom and to materials through our database that helped them do distance learning to the best of their abilities. But one thing that we saw was that there were certain areas that students really got excited on, and one was esports. Esports has now become an official sport of the CIF, and so we've developed a league in our county. We have a tournament this weekend here in San Bernardino, and when kids get involved in esports, it involves critical thinking, it involves collaboration, it involves teamwork, it involves strategy, all those higher level skills that you want students. And so a student that may have difficulty in math or in science, when they get into esports, you hit a part of their brain that's higher level functioning that allows them to really think at levels that you may not have realized in a traditional classroom setting. But in this capacity, they just get exciting. And schools have set up classrooms that are ideal for esports. If you go to Rialto, they have an incredible classroom that has the lighting and the best equipment for students, and students are on a waiting list to get into that program. Same in Apple Valley. They have esports as an after-school program. So, students, when they're done with school, they want to go do other things. There's a waiting list to get into this after-school program in Apple Valley because esports is taught by such motivated teachers. Most of them are younger. They've been doing gaming themselves, but they're passionate about providing opportunities to students, and it's all done in an atmosphere of collegiality and support. And it's competitive, but it's done so in a very engaging manner that involves that kind of environment. So we're looking forward to our tournament this weekend.
Oh, that's so exciting. And I love that you're looking at the student as a whole, right? Because you have the academics, you're integrating esports for that higher thinking, and also have programs for soft skills, which are critical, right? You can be a 5.0 student, GPA off the charts and everything else, but unless you have those critical soft skills, it can be a challenge. Please talk a little bit about that, Mr. Alejandre.
No, that's true. Students need to have essential skills. And when you look at a high school curriculum, there may not be one class that speaks to it, although many teachers do try to incorporate elements of soft skills in their lesson delivery. But we actually have set up a boot camp. So we'll be in different schools throughout the county, and we'll teach students, when you're looking to get employed, here's how you have to approach your employer. Here's what the employer wants to see. They want to see someone that can work together as a team. They want to see someone who's dependable, someone that can look directly into your eye and have a conversation, someone that's not playing around with their phone. It's got to be put away so that you're focused on that employer and displaying the demeanor and the character that employers want to hire. You're dressed appropriately. And when all those elements are in places, employers are very excited to see that type of applicant, and they'll bring them on. And then once they're on, I always tell students, give 150% no matter what you're doing, because employers don't necessarily look to see what you're doing in all cases. They're look to see the kind of demeanor and work ethic you have and dependability that you have. Once you demonstrate that, then that just carries you through many different layers until your ultimate goals. And I always encourage them, look at someone you admire and ask if you can have a few minutes of their time and ask them how they got to that position. And you'll find some amazing stories from our leaders, including yourself and others, that can really share with students, here's how I got to where I am. It wasn't easy, and it wasn't a linear path. There's different pathways, but here are the most important characteristics that will lead you to a successful path. And so I think when students truly understand that, they really have lifelong impacts from that kind of mindset.
I love it. So I'm just going to go jump into the Veterans Diploma Program, Mr. Alejandre, because that program just struck a chord in my heart. And I can just imagine how these veterans must respond and feel about this very beautiful program you've developed.
Oh, it's a wonderful program, and we've been doing it now for, I believe, 14 years. But for veterans who went to serve our country in World War II, the Korean War, or Vietnam, if when they left to serve their country, they did not complete their high school diploma because their call to service was that important to them, then once we have that validated through Department of Veterans Affairs, then the county superintendent has the authority to give them their high school diploma. So we search far and wide. If any of the viewers know of a veteran who's out there who served in one of those 3 wars and didn't get their high school diploma, please let us know, because we are passionate about giving those veterans their high school diploma. Most of the time, the people that are referred to us aren't the veterans themselves because they're such humble individuals. They don't want that acknowledgement. It's usually a spouse, a child, a relative that will bring that name forward. But I'll tell you, every one of the veterans, when they get the diploma, they are just so moved by it. We do a very nice ceremony. We speak about each of the veterans, and then we give them their diplomas while we're playing the pomp and circumstance. So it's a wonderful event. This last one we had in November. We do it every November. We had an individual 92 years old up from Big Bear, and was just so appreciative of getting that high school diploma. And I remember 2 brothers a few years back. They came fully dressed in their Army uniforms. They still had them, and they had all their medals. And we had a reporter from the news station ask the gentleman, I see those medals on your uniform. You must be really proud of getting those medals because they were probably for some important things that you did in the military. And the brother said, these medals are important, but this high school diploma is just as important. And they were so proud to finally get their high school diploma, but it means so much to them, and it means so much to their families, knowing that these veterans who are heroes for serving their country are so deserving of that high school diploma. So we encourage everybody, give us the information, reach out to us, because we'd love to get names for this coming program in November.
I love it. So let's talk briefly about nutrition and health and mental health, which many times go hand in hand, right? You are what you eat. It's so critical to focus on what it is that, our children are consuming to make sure that they're developing properly, that they're, getting the right nutrients to fill those beautiful, brilliant brains of theirs. Please talk a little bit about that, Mr. Alejandre.
No, absolutely. Those are key areas. We have a partnership with CalFresh, and we have staff that work with districts to really help them build their nutrition menus at their lunch facilities, wherever students have their lunch, so the students can have healthy offerings, but also offerings that taste good. If you give something to students which you may think are healthy, and students may not like it, they're not going to eat it. So you have to really work as a team and do tasting festivals or tasting events where students can taste some of these things. Be creative in how you bring fruits and vegetables because they taste great, but you have to almost market it sometimes to students so they're aware of it. But once they do become aware of it, then they enjoy it and they really like it. Fresh salad bars and those kinds of things that our team is really connected with districts on making sure that they have access to nutritious foods. And mental health is so important. Our student advisories always address mental health as a priority. So wellness centers have really been developed at many of our high schools where they're finding places where students can access health experts. Students say, they have counselors in the school, but they're usually counselors who help with their their courses, their scheduling, and to speak to someone when you have a problem. If you have a relative that's died and you're struggling with them, if you're coming from an environment of abuse or neglect or negativity, who do you talk to help get you through that day? That's what schools are becoming more and more adept at providing contacts for students to access. And the state has put forth monies into health providers to work with us so that we can really brainstorm ideas on how we can provide students with support. So, for example, over the next number of years, we're going to have $25 million through a partnership with IEHP, Molina Healthcare, the Department of Behavioral Health, and county schools and our pilot districts on how we can utilize health and service, again, collective impact, health and services money, not school money that's already been accounted for, but health and human services money that can be used for services that schools really need. And working with our pilots, they're saying they need more support with students for dealing with substance abuse, with care centers, with mental health issues. And so these partnerships are really going to provide that framework and foundation to really work together to deliver those services to students.
That's wonderful. Please, Mr. Alejandre, talk about your work with First Five and let us know what you're most excited about looking into the future.
First five is an incredible, that 0 to 5 is such a key part of our cradle to career. And the director, Karen Stott, the team, and our fellow board members, we're all invested on opportunities for our youth and how we can partner with preschool and state preschool settings and child provider services throughout the region, so we all can work together on making sure that all students get that support. It's an investment in that foundation that's going to pay off big time moving into the future. And when I look into the future, I'll tell you, I just get so excited about the accomplishments of our districts and the efforts of our teachers to support all students. And one example, just to close on that issue, is that we had a 12-year-old boy, Ethan, out in Hesperia. He's a student with disabilities, significant disabilities. He can't move, he can't talk, so he doesn't have much communication skills. And we kept trying to find ways to connect with him for communication. And we finally found this Toby, it's called a Toby Dynavox. Through eye gazing, him looking into a computer through his eyes, he can pinpoint symbols that have language and meaning attached to them. And we configured it to an iPad so he can take it home and practice with his mom. And his mom came to the school in tears because she said for the first time he told her he loved her.
Oh my gosh, I just got chills. I just got chills. Oh my goodness. That is amazing. Oh my gosh. And so briefly, quickly, Mr. Alejandre, for businesses and people in the community that want to engage, support your efforts and get involved, who do they go to? Where do they go to? How can they connect?
Best way is to go into our website, SBCSS, and you'll find all the links to all of our branches. You'll find access to our Cradle to Career Interactive. You'll have the information for all of our teams. Please reach out to us. Watch us on social media. We have Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, but we constantly try to push information out to the community so you can get connected with us and become volunteers. Attend our events. They're no cost, but they get you connected into what we're doing in support of 400,000 students across San Bernardino County.
I love it. So we're coming up on the end of the program, but I am so thankful that you made the time to give us an update and an inspiring one at that. Thank you so much for being with us today, Mr. Alejandre.
Very well. Thank you. It was a wonderful conversation.
Beautiful. All right. So for everybody listening, don't forget to look for us on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Don't forget to check us out on scbrtalk.com. And here is a rundown of upcoming events, everybody. So Thursday, April 27th, HCSB is conducting a Sustainability Summit luncheon from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. for $45 registration at the DoubleTree by Hilton at 3101 West Temple Avenue in Pomona. Call area code 951-426-4272 or visit www.hcsb-us.org for more information. Inland Pacific Ballet presents The Little Mermaid, an enchanting underwater adventure, April 29th through the 30th at the Lewis Family Playhouse in Rancho Cucamonga with tickets starting at $32. Visit ipballet.org for more information. Also, save the date for Women of Hope's 4th annual Beauty Bubbles and Bites. It's scheduled for Thursday, June 8th at the beautiful Pond Oaks venue in Mount Baldy. This is an exclusive ladies' night out that features the latest in beauty and self-care. To get your tickets or become a sponsor, visit www.hthf.org/beauty bubbles and bites or contact Daisy Macias at area code 909-509-2094. Don't miss my interview with Travis Park, owner and president of California Recyclers, located in Fontana, California, serving many communities throughout Southern California that are the cleanest recycling centers in the state. California Recyclers keep about 99% of materials indoors and make warehousing a priority, where all employees are required to participate in ongoing training. Next week, we will have Dr. Gabriel Zeta, a board-certified neurosurgeon and internationally recognized expert in brain, skull, base, and pituitary tumor surgery, as well as a variety of endoscopic and minimally invasive neurosurgical techniques. Dr. Zeta has treated over 2,000 patients with brain and skull-based tumors using both minimally invasive and open cranial approaches. As director of the USC Brain Tumor Center, Dr. Zeta directs a comprehensive, minimally invasive cranial surgery program, including endoscopic skull-based pituitary surgery and exoscopic minimally invasive Testicular, surgery. All right, everybody, you don't want to miss it because these are critical updates. We'll see you then. See you next week.